Doctor for Real. Thank you so much for contributing to our charity work by watching this video. It also really helps if you give it a like, leave a comment and subscribe to the channel. Details of the funds we have donated are in the description of every video that we publish. Today's ride follows on directly from last week and was provided to us by Kelly from Autumn in Asia. Today is Wednesday the 1st of June, and in today's news, no COVID has been reported, but monkeypox precautions are considered. We'll take a look at Siem Reap's drive for quality tourism, and not to be left behind, Battambang looks set for its very own pub street. Of course, there's a bit of crime and some drunk drivers coming up, and then to finish, we'll have a look at the poll from the weekend. We're up to 25 days and counting since the last case of COVID was reported in the kingdom. There are a handful of people still considered to be active cases of COVID, but that number is decreasing as each day passes. There is a bit of concern about the possibility of monkeypox entering the kingdom, and over in Thailand, they've started screening international arrivals from high-risk areas such as southern Europe and Africa. The Cambodian government is considering purchasing vaccines in case there is an outbreak. It's a 2-dose course and is readily available at this stage, but if stocks become more in demand, I guess that could change. Cambodia's reopened Siem Reap sets its sights on a quality tourist resurgence. Cambodia's Angkor Wat is bouncing back with an eco-friendly face. Siem Reap, the gateway to the ruins of Angkor, aims to triple its number of international tourist arrivals over the next 15 years and use this tourism revenue to accelerate rural development under a development plan drafted in the first year of the pandemic. A US $150 million makeover of the city was completed in March, including the widening and adding of roads and highways, expanding broadband access, and creating lots of bicycle lanes along the river that meanders through the city. Siem Reap's downtown and surroundings, as well as the Angkor Wat Heritage Park, now have a new face, and this new face is a very effective way to attract more international tourists and convince them to stay a bit longer. Siem Reap has set itself some pretty big targets. It's got a development target of 7.5 million international tourists and 10.9 million domestic visitors per year by the year 2035. I hope they can do it. The new Belt and Road funded airport, about 45 kilometres away from Siem Reap, is set to open by the end of next year, with an initial capacity for 7 million annual passengers, rising to 20 million by 2050, according to Cambodian aviation officials. Over in the west, Battambang wants to get in on the action as well. The Battambang Provincial Authority has announced that it is considering establishing a pub street in the area around the heritage buildings in Battambang town in a bid to attract more tourists. Battambang Provincial Governor said that the establishment of a pub street has not been officially decided upon, as the provincial administration has not officially discussed the matter with town residents, including those living in the heritage houses around the proposed tourist attraction. He added that the provincial administration will not require investors for the new pub street because it would most likely be not as large as the one in Siem Reap town. Nonetheless, he invited interested investors to conduct studies and propose investment plans to his administration. Prior to the establishment of a pub street, night walks will need to be designed to engage food vendors and entertainment venues to enliven the area. Such a plan would demand residents of the heritage buildings to participate in preparations and take part in proposed commercial activities. The establishment of the pub street plan has not been discussed in detail. We have just conducted some surveys, but once pub street has materialised, it will attract more tourists to Battambang, the representative said. They will be able to visit the heritage houses in town and consume a variety of food and drinks. Pub street or not, though, nothing ruins a holiday more than a bout of food poisoning. A new food safety law has been drafted to lower the odds of you having to spend a few uncomfortable days chained to the toilet. We've all been there. A new food safety law is of vital importance to protect public health and safety, as it will ensure quality food and good hygiene and also aid in reducing occurrences of various diseases, government officials said. The draft food safety law, with 11 chapters and 43 articles, was approved by the Senate on the 18th of May and is pending promulgation by the King. This law will make it possible for Cambodia to prepare a modern food safety system by establishing preventative measures and controlling production chains, rather than inspecting and analysing finished products. The new law will improve safety standards, but there are concerns that it will restrict street food sales. People are wondering whether they will be able to meet the high standards set by the new law and still remain affordable. Cambodia has been training Colombian forces in demining operations. Cambodian Mine Action Centre is training members of the Colombian Armed Forces in demining, an expertise that Cambodians have acquired from years of experience. The 15-member contingent from the South American nation included 10 from the Army, 2 from the Navy, and 1 from the Air Force. Colombia has seen over 50 years of civil war and has many unexploded ordnances similar to the situation in Cambodia. The unexploded ordnance in Colombia include anti-tank mines, anti-personnel and underwater mines, which the authorities are trying to clear to make the land safe. Colombia became the first country to participate in the South-South Mine Action Cooperation training with the CMAC, and the project is supported by the Japanese government. Luckily, Cambodia has many experts in the field of demining, as 10 tons of UXOs were recently recovered from a ship that was submerged in the Mekong River. The CMAC deminers recently removed more than 3,000 UXOs from that warship. Salvage operations are expected to last 7 months, taking it to November this year before it's cleared. Governors of 3 provinces bordering Laos have met with the Lao Prime Minister. The Cambodian officials are working to increase cooperation between the provinces of Preah Stung Treng and Ratnakiri with Laos. The 3 provinces have areas along the border that are very remote, and it is hoped that this partnership will strengthen border security. Staying in the province of Ratnakiri, provincial authorities have handed over land titles to residents of 2 villages in one of its districts. Indigenous communities in the villages received 36 collective land titles late last month, with a total of 209 hectares. This handover recognises the Indigenous people as the owners of the land, and the titles are now protected by law. Let's have a look at a couple of unusual crimes in the kingdom. A 19-year-old man was brought to justice after stealing a blender in Phnom Penh's BKK area. He is being held until his case can be heard by the Phnom Penh Municipal Court. It's sad to think that he'll probably end up with a custodial sentence for that offence. Still in Phnom Penh, a man has been arrested after he was caught filming his neighbour's wife while she was in the shower. The woman had gone to take a shower but left the bathroom door open because the light was broken. Her husband turned on a light in the next room so she could see, and it was then that he saw his neighbour, who had access to an adjoining room, filming the bathroom with his phone. The man had drilled a hole in the wall to facilitate his peeping. He tried to delete the footage from his phone, but the quick-acting husband was able to seize it before he had chance, and that man is also awaiting trial. Now it's time to check in with the drunk drivers. First up, we have cars versus road signs. A foreign national caused confusion when he crashed his car, then collapsed in a drunken stupor. Sources said he was driving erratically and at high speed. He smashed into a road sign, managed to get out of his car, and promptly passed out on the footpath. The drunk driver of an SUV lost control of his vehicle and slammed into a number of signposts and lampposts, causing severe damage to his car and the posts. This incident happened at 5 a.m. and he had sobered up enough to be able to flee the scene. And now we have car versus cows. 5 cows were killed in a hit and run. The poor creatures were sleeping on a quiet road when the unidentified vehicle slammed into them. In total, 7 were hit, and luckily 2 survived. Somehow the driver escaped from the scene. Next up is an only in Cambodia moment that saw the US ambassador hosting a screening of the new Top Gun movie. 40 VIPs attended the screening, including the Minister of Culture and Fine Arts. The group also enjoyed a tasty meal after the movie. How much is it to see a movie in Cambodia, you might wonder? Well, in Phnom Penh Legends Cinema, it is $4 or $5 depending on the day of the week you choose to go. Our last item today is our recent poll where we asked you which was your favourite place from the 4 choices available of Siem Reap, Phnom Penh, the Islands or Kampot/Kep. No surprise that Siem Reap took out the top spot, being as popular as it is with so many locals, expats and visitors. It was nearly twice as popular as Phnom Penh, which just scraped into second place with 22% of the vote, a fraction ahead of Kampot and Kep with 20% and the Islands at 16%. That brings us to the end of this week's news. You're now up to date with all of the most important events in the kingdom. Thank you for watching. As always, links to the stories mentioned will be in the description of the video, and we'd like to thank Kelly from Autumn in Asia again for providing today's ride. Take care, have a great week, and we'll see you very soon.